Hey, great big world out there. Hey, 7 whole days, and I have not seen y'all. 7 whole days, and I'm glad to be back. Hey, y'all. Hey, happy Saturday, baby. We are in the second. Is it the second? Absolutely, because it's the 11th. We are in the second Saturday of April. Just want to say hello to everybody. I hope everybody had a phenomenal week, like exceptionally phenomenal. And guess what? If you encountered some highs and some lows, that's okay. That's not a problem, long as you just don't stay in that space. And sometimes it's easier said than done. Oh, baby, don't I know? Sometimes it is so easier said than done. So, we just gotta use that energy. And I think that was one of Mariah Carey songs. You gotta shake it out. So yeah, shake it off, shake it off, shake off all that bad energy. Get around some positive energy. Laugh. Laughter is good for the soul, and it's okay. We're gonna have those moments. We're human. We just have to not stay in those moments, okay? But other than that, we're gonna be blessed that we're still in the land of the living. No matter what we encountered, we are actually still here. So, with that being said, I like to kick off the show with what? Fun facts. Yes, fun facts. Who wouldn't, right? So, today's fun fact is about, guess what? Fruit. Not just any fruit, but an orange. And I chose an orange because the story was I went to Florida when I was young, maybe about 5 or 6. And, at the time they were picking these really big oranges off the orange trees. And I just sat right under the orange tree and I divulged maybe about 4 or 5 of them. And I cried when we had to leave. And so the gentleman there felt so bad, and he just gave my dad like a whole sack of oranges for me. And yeah, so I just really wanted to know some fun facts about an orange, right? So here we go. The earliest orange that was out was called the wild orange, right? And it comes from a variety of natives in Southeast Asia, right? So these oranges, really, for real, were green, right? Oranges were actually green. So before they became ripe. So of course, you turn colors when you become ripe. However, in Brazil, Brazil is the largest country that produces oranges, right? And not only that, they were cultivated, of course, from China. And research shows that this started happening with the oranges as far back as 4000 BCE. Now, here's what I found so fascinating, right, about these oranges. And like I want an orange right now, right? Now, oranges are not a natural fruit, but it is a hybrid of paloma and tangerines. So now, here's what's so amazing about this. So I can't wait to go back to the grocery store because I'm gonna be in every fruit section there is. Like I'm just a whiz in this. But here is the good thing that I found out. There are over 600 different types of oranges. Now, the most common and the most famous oranges are navel oranges, Valencia oranges, and the blood oranges, right? So now I'm going to go look for other oranges outside of those most common ones, right? Truth be told, I don't know what a blood orange is. I looked it up, but I can't wait to go see it when I go to Pete's grocery store. Now, if you love the color orange, you are going to love this fun fact right here, right? So the fruit gave the name the color versus the name giving the fruit the color. So it was always the other way around. So the orange was actually a fruit long before the color was named. And this is dated all the way back around 1640. So now oranges are actually grown in warm tropical areas. And sometimes if they're not green, they're yellow when they're ripe. So they often, in order for them to change color and get the color that we're used to seeing and that sweetness and all of those juices that's inside of those plump oranges, you have to let them sit in a cool place overnight, and maybe even a couple of nights, just for that vitamin C. Now, here's the good thing about oranges. Although that they're not a natural fruit, the actual orange peel itself is high in concentration of nutrients that include vitamin C, and this can be used for cleaning, repelling insects, and making tea. So when I go back to the store and buy some oranges and come back and make me some orange tea, just with the citrus of the orange and just with the hull of the orange. Now, what I have done before is I have shedded the orange peel and lemon and orange zest. That's what I'm gonna call it, and lemon zest. And when I make sweet potatoes, I put that on the sweet potatoes. When you put them in the oven and you let them bake, with that brown sugar, OMG, yes. So you gotta love oranges, right? So I just wanted to throw that out there for anybody that's listening, wanted to know about that fun fact. If you ever wanted to know about an orange, yes, yes, yes. So we're going to jump into our announcements today on Let's Talk Finance. Now, yes, the IRS is accepting extensions. Yes, they still are accepting extensions. They will be accepting extensions until Wednesday, April 15th. And if I'm not mistaken, it's at midnight in whatever time zone you're in. So for Central Standard Time at midnight, if you submitted at 11:59 p.m., you are on time. If you submitted at 12:01 a.m., guess what? You late. So make sure your extensions are in. If you are a client of Anointed Accounting and you have not filed your tax return, you already know not to worry, not to sweat, because your extensions have been done since the end of March. Now, with that being said, excluding today, people, excluding today, you have exactly 4 more days before your tax returns are due. So if you're trying to get your tax returns in, you may want to try to make that appointment with your accountant. Although it is so late and no one wants to rush their time, rush their expertise, we don't want you to miss out on credits and deductions. 9 times out of 10, we are going to suggest that you file an extension. So there's no need to rush, right? You done already waited 12 months, and then you waited 4 more months into the new year, which is 16 months. You can wait a couple more days. It's just accuracy over errors. That's what we prefer. Now, again, I've noticed that this tax season also alone, a lot of people are being rejected for identity protection PIN numbers. This is why it's so important for you to have those IRS ID Me accounts. If you have not created them, please create those accounts so you can go into your account and pull that letter to get your identity protection PIN number. That's what it's called, okay? Then, once you get that PIN number, you can turn that over and your return won't get rejected for an identity protection PIN number. Some of you all are aware that you have it and some of you are not. That's why I'm so harping on the fact that you need that IRS account. Please, you need that account. Now, got some special updates for you. Oh my God, we got a big celebration tomorrow. We got a big birthday tomorrow. Let's Talk Finance is turning 1 year old. Yes, happy birthday, Eve. Let's Talk Finance podcast. You do not want to miss that awesome show that we are throwing tomorrow. Yes, there is going to be an awesome show lined up. We got some guests stopping by the studio that was on the show in 2025. We got some giveaways. Oh man, it's just going to be so live and so hype and so much energy in the building. So what I suggest you do, if I was you, I would tell somebody and tell somebody else to tell somebody and just get on live, because the stuff that's going to be given away, promotions, sales, giveaways, whatever, it's only going to be if you are online. And you just never know who's going to stop by. You never know how the spirit is going to move on Let's Talk Finance. Somebody may come down and say, you know what? I want to bless Let's Talk Finance listeners in the audience. If I was y'all, I would be there. I don't know about y'all, but I love free stuff. So if I was y'all, I'm just saying I would be there. And it's a birthday. You want to show up for a 1-year-old birthday's party. Now, we ain't going to have no hot dogs and tater chips or nothing like that. Well, we going to eat, but we ain't going to eat that. So just be here tomorrow at 3:15 sharp. You don't want to miss that. When you on time, you on time. They say the early bird catch the worm. I would definitely be in the building at 3:15 if I was y'all. I'm just saying. Now, an apology needs to be given. There was a comment that was in the messages last week that I totally was blinded and overlooked. So I want to apologize. My niece's birthday was actually last Saturday, Sharnita. So Sharnita, I'm so sorry. I forgot about that. So yes, her birthday, and I hope she's still celebrating. Beautiful young lady. Love her with everything that's in me. Happy birthday, sweetheart. And of course, our content creator for Anointed County, all the way from the Philippines, Cha Cha Cha. Her birthday celebrated on the 9th. Yes, and I hope everybody that's celebrating their birthdays in the month of April, you're celebrating with decency and you're celebrating in order. Also, another birthday, my brother's birthday was on the 7th, Big V. You know, I got to get up with my brother so we can get some birthday cake. Why don't nobody want no birthday cake? Like, I'm confused about this. Like, I done talked to everybody for their birthday and nobody had no birthday cake. Like, what is going on with this? Who don't like birthday cake? I'm confused. Really? Okay, that's a whole nother show though. So I just want to thank all the listeners and supporters. Like, y'all don't know what y'all do to Let's Talk Finance podcast. Like, it's a whole nother vibe. It's a whole nother energy. With that being said, please love, like, comment, and share the feedback. We want your interaction. We want your comments. We actually take your stuff to the table and we sit and talk about it, and we bring other ideals with that so we could come on and assist you all. That's what we're here for, to help and also educate. So please, this content is free. You don't know who need it. And again, I'm going to keep saying this. If we can spread gossip, if we can spread fake news, we can definitely hit the share button to spread something that's informational as well as educational, and that's going to help our community. Let's do that. Now, and I'm going to still run that special. If you are a client and you are sharing this content, you may want to screenshot that and bring that to me so you can get 10% off of your services. If you are a new client coming aboard and you share this content, please screenshot it and you're going to get 15% off of your services. If you are not a client or not wanting to even be a client, we also have something special for you. We're going to give you our telephone number or email address and ask that you reach out to us, and we'll talk more about those details, right? So, want to say what's up to everybody that's joined in on live. If I do not call your name, that means I don't see it, but you on live. So guess what? I know you there. I just don't see a name. So thank you for the love and the support. We got the beautiful Bams checking in. Hello, beautiful Bam. How are you? Yes. Now, only the beautiful Bam is going to get this joke. I don't know if you can see my ponytail, but I look like Chocolate Diamond with this bun. I just want to let you know that. So that was an inside joke between me and the beautiful Bam. No worries. So let's go on ahead and jump on into Let's Talk Finance. So welcome back, as always. Welcome back. And guess what? If you're new here, welcome to the family. We're family here. Judgment-free zone. We don't know everything, we learn just like everybody else does. We just know how to bring it together. We know how to do it in decency and in order. However, on Let's Talk Finance podcast, we deliver this information in regards to your finances with faith. We deliver it with empowerment, and we deliver it with clarity. Why? Because understanding your finances is not just about numbers. It's about confidence. It's about being in alignment, and it's about following your purpose. Like if you don't have those three, you're going to be lost in the sauce. And I don't know if the youth still say that, but you're going to be lost in the sauce if you don't have none of that, because it's like you're just moving, right? And when I say that, let me start by saying that money touches every part of our lives. It's not one person out here that money does not touch, right? Yet so many of us are never taught how to understand fully what money is and how money matters. And so I go back to when I was a teenager, and when I say we, me and my nieces and nephews, we talked about my brother Pookie. Because all he had to do was sit down and call us in the room, and we would sit around on the floor or on the couch, and we would listen to him talk about, hey, you got to know the difference between a job and a career. You got to know this. You got to have a career, and you got to know how to manage your money. You got to know where your money is going. And it was like, oh my God, I just want to go to the candy store. Do you got to keep talking about this? And at that age, we didn't appreciate that. But I saw how my brother went to work and how he talked about managing other people's money. And it was like, wait, you got to sit here and manage somebody else's money? Why wouldn't they want to manage their own money? But it was more behind the scenes than that. And I appreciate that teaching. Although we talked about it, I actually followed in his footsteps. So big shout out to my brother. I love you, Pookie. Thanks for that. That's going to go down in history. I know my mama up there smiling. She got 2 accountants that's kids. And she never said what to be. She just said go to school and get an education. So now we have a different background. Yes, he deals with fund accounting. Yeah, I ain't got the patience. I'm sorry. It's not me. Nope, not at all. Give me something easy. But anyway, today's topic, and I brought that up because today's topic actually is to educate you about finances and about financial literacy, and to make it simple so you can have confidence when it comes to your numbers and making decisions. We can remove that fear. We can remove that doubt out the way. We want to walk with clarity and confidence, and it's nothing better than having control over your money. When you lose control over your few pennies that you make, it's a problem. So we're here to help you readjust that. And how do we readjust that? We talk about the mindset. We talk about freedom. We talk about stability. As a matter of fact, one of my guests that's going to be on tomorrow, Ambi Riley, she's stopping by with Osha Joyce Cosmetics. She said, by the time I turn 35, maybe even sooner, I want to retire. I don't want to wait until I'm 50 and 60. I want to enjoy life now. So let me start now. And it's like, listening to her say that, I was like, girl, bye. That's impossible. Well, nothing's impossible, but wow, that's what, 3-4 more years? And so, but because her mindset is there, she sees the light at the end of the tunnel, and she's working towards that. It's easy to make that your purpose because you have that destination. And that's what we need to do when it comes to our money. So here's 3 key points that we're going to focus on today, right? The first key point is going to be about how confidence can replace confusion. So let's look at it like this. You put on your best outfit, your best shoes, get your hair, your nails done. Gentlemen, they all lined up, got a cut, nice suit, nice gaiters. You feel confident. You don't care if the world said you ugly as Joe Blow. When you step out, you looking like $1 million and feeling like $1 million. We need to take that same energy and that same confidence and put it into our money. That's what we have to do. And how do we do that? We stop second guessing our financial decisions and we start moving with clarity. And how do we move with clarity and understanding? By sharing this content. That's the first step. And two, just being more aware and more conscious of what's going on with your finances. Here's another thing that we can do when we talk about another key point. It's going to be knowledge comes before strategy. So you can have a strategy, but if you don't have the knowledge on how to control the strategy or move the strategy along with what you're aligned up with, it's not going to work. It's not. So you have to understand the concepts. You have to understand the brackets. You have to understand your financial statements. You have to understand how you're profitable. And this is not just for small business owners. This is for everyday people because, again, money touches our hands and our lives every day. We're shaped by it in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And our third key point is going to be on how awareness, there you go again, being aware of how that would lead into transformation. And, I always used to hear my mom, and even now my aunt always say, Siobhan, our people lack because of lack of knowledge. And again, if we're not aware and we don't have the knowledge, we can't have transformation, right? So this isn't just about education. It's about building habits, like a new lifestyle, a lifestyle change. You want to stop eating and you become vegetarian or vegan. That's a lifestyle change. Your money is also a lifestyle change. So with that being said, we're going to start off by talking about, we're going to start off by talking about what financial literacy really means. And it means so many things on so many different levels. And I'm going to let you choose which level you think you fall in. So when we talk about financial literacy on the personal level, it's personal freedom, right? It's the ability to take control of your financial destiny. It's moving how you want to move. It's not being timid with your money. It's basically feeling like a millionaire. I could drop this money and just don't even care about it because I'm empowered by the choices I make. The quality and my standards that I have, I've put them in place in order to move like this. Now, on the flip side of that, let me tell you how else it works, because now you're bringing in confidence and control. So not only do I have that freedom to move like this, I'm now confident in how I move. Just like when you dress up and you go out in your elegant dress, or you put on your stilettos. Me, I'm putting on flats. I can look very beautiful in flats. If your feet hurt, I don't care how beautiful that dress is, your whole body gonna hurt. I'm just saying. I'm gonna put on flats and still feel confident. However, when you're feeling confident, you're no longer overwhelmed. You're at peace. You're not battling in your head about trying to organize financial planning because you already have it planned. You're aware. And then what do you do with that? You take action with that. You build on it. You build your purpose on it. You act on it. Why? Because that's your lifestyle. You plan because, again, this is what you want to do. You want to retire at an early age. You want to live comfortably. You want to have generational wealth. You want to know your flow of income. If you retire today, how comfortably can you live the rest of your life out, or will you need to go get another job or two? Now, with that being said, financial literacy equals understanding. It equals applying and making informed decisions. So that means you're sitting there and you're thinking about this decision, kind of like, if somebody asks you for $1,000, you're going to make that decision. Should I give them this $1,000? Can I afford it? Better yet, is they going to pay me back when they say? So you make all these decisions when they say they're going to pay me back about loaning this money. We need to take that same energy and put it into striving and strategizing to make it better for us so we can be more comfortable. Now, when we're talking about budgeting, right? And this is, again, not just for business owners, but for individuals. We have to go behind not just the numbers we see. We have to look at our credit. Then we have to look at if we are investing. Are we planning? And this is where you come in and you sit down with your accountant. You come in and you sit down with your tax preparer, because that team can get together. And once you all collaborate, you guys could come up with a master plan. And that plan can help you overall. Why? Because it's a plan. And you don't just leave it at that plan. You have a plan for that plan. And then you have a backup plan for the plan that has the plan. And I know it sounds overwhelming, but that's just being prepared. That's being aligned. One moment, water time. Good. Now, another thing that we have to stop doing is we have to leave the emotional side of money out. We have to stop being fearful and avoiding things. So if you know you overspent, you know you got that NSF fee, still look at that bank account. If you know you went out there and spent endlessly because you were in your feelings and you done spent the light bill money, still look at that account. Make the necessary changes that need to be made, but you have to start with you. You have to put it in your mind. It has to make sense up here. You have to ask yourself, listen, I want you to take time and I just want you to think about this. And if you have an answer, by all means, put it in the comments. I'll love to hear your feedback. So here's one of the questions that I started asking myself when I became a business owner. And one of the questions was what would change your life fully if you understood how money worked instead of just having money to juggle bills? Oh, for me, that changes confusion, because I no longer need to wonder if I'm up, down, or plateauing. I no longer need to rob Peter to pay Paul. I no longer have to figure out anything. So the confusion alone is overwhelming in itself. So as a business owner, I had to learn that. And I'm still learning today as a business owner. I don't know everything. And I don't portray to know everything, but I will research and I will get with a group of people who understand a little bit more than me that can help me. And so that's how this goes. It's a domino effect. Now, that was our beginning foundation, right? You know, I like to always give you a foundation. So since we're talking about freedom and mindset of the money and how to have your confidence when you're dealing with your money and any type of numbers you're dealing with, we have to know what that financial literacy means. So now that we have that ground rule, now we can go into understanding exactly what our numbers are, meaning taxes and principles. Yes, taxes do not go away. Not at all. You're good. Trust me, Uncle Sam gonna get his money one way or another. My mom used to always say, you can't run or play with Uncle Sam. He gonna always win. And the good thing about Uncle Sam is he got patience. And you know, now that I'm older and, you know, I can't tell her this, but I think Uncle Sam had more patience than Job. Like, for real. Because you could owe and not file for 20 years and come back around and get a letter and they taking money out your account. I mean, I'm just saying, that's just my personal opinion. But you have to understand your money. And how do you do that? Understanding, meaning you have to make better financial decisions. And that starts with you. First of all, know your tax bracket. Now, again, companies have removed this where they do the training or they bring out the updates every year when the IRS has released new forms or when something new is going on with your withholdings. They now leave that up to the taxpayer to do their due diligence. Well, guess what? You're not thinking about that as a taxpayer. What you're thinking about is when you get paid in your payday. That's great. Absolutely phenomenal. But now you have to think about these other things because these other things can cause a deficit. So you want to know what tax bracket you fall in. I talked about that 2 weeks ago. Go back to my YouTube channel, please, and you will see it there. You have to know if you're in that 10% bracket, that 12% bracket, that 22% bracket, that 24% bracket. You have to know. And people, please don't be misunderstood. Just because you have children do not mean you're going to get a refund. That does not mean that. It does not mean because you have all of these deductions, you are going to get a refund. There's more things and more factors that go into that. And the first main factor is going to be your tax bracket. You got to know how much money you're making. Factor in them bonuses, factor in that overtime, and whatever that base and gross amount is, you times that by whatever number your percentage is in. And the IRS releases this information every year. Guess what? Let's Talk Finance releases this information. So you can get it from there. Another factor that you have to consider is knowing your filing status, especially when you are combining income, whether you're combining income with your spouse or whether you have investments that are not taxed, whether you have property income that's not being taxed, whether you're a sole proprietor and you're bringing in income that's not being taxed, nor are you paying estimated tax payments on that. So you have to know your filing statuses when you're combining that type of income. Not only that, you have to know how it impacts your income. You have to know how it's going to impact your generational wealth, whether it's good, bad, and or indifferent. You got to have that money for the rainy day. Remember the 50, 30, 20 rule, or however you want to divide that rule up. You can do that. You can do that. You know, and speaking about a rainy day, not to get off topic, I just sent out a meme to my family last week. You know, every time I put money away for a rainy day, it seems like it's going to rain. So it's always raining. So you got to have that mind concept that, look, I don't care how I look, I'm going to still put this dollar away because I don't know what's going to happen. And if anything happened, I know I got this dollar already put to the side. So that's having some type of comfort. That's having confidence in knowing that, look, if something happened, I'm ready. I'm ready. I don't know at what percentage, but I know I can meet you halfway. And then you want to look at the 5 principles that you're going to be tackling when you're talking about financial spending. Financial literacy. And what that is how you spend your money. Is it intentional when you spend it? Or are you spending it because you're in your feelings? Or are you spending it because it's just sitting there and it looks nice, so you want to spend it just to say you have it? Are you saving consistently? I just talked about that. Are you investing? Are you understanding your debt ratio? Are you? And again, you would understand this and know all of these factors when you sit down and talk to your accountant or your tax preparer. These are things that we don't think about every day. And trust me, I was one of them. I didn't know any of this. I didn't care to know any of this because it didn't make any sense to me, and I didn't need to use it until when I heard my brother start talking about having that career. And then I wanted to know what goes behind the scenes of me getting this paycheck. Why is these numbers here? Why is this so impactful? When I had my first tax return and I got a refund, and then that next year I owed, oh, baby. Yes, I had to know. Talk about a curious sister. Oh my God. Yes, I was ready to go sit at the table with the IRS and tell them, how dare you? But it was me because I didn't know. So trust me, this is all important. We have to plan for our tax situations, especially if we're self-employed. We also have to plan for our tax situations if we're playing with our federal withholdings and going exempt. Yeah, because that's going to come back in the end and hit you. Wrong filing classification. You're single, but yet you want to file head of household. It don't work like that. No, you have to know your filing status, right? You have to know that filing status. Now, we're going to jump into how to apply the foundation with knowing your statuses and your situations. We're now going to understand the importance of how our finances is essential and not optional. So, let's talk about it. Let's have some water first. Let's talk about it. Y'all know I love to talk about stuff. I'm quick to say, let's talk about it. Let's discuss it. Well, no, I don't say let's discuss it. I say let's talk about it. Because we all, when you're talking, you're going to agree and disagree. But in the end, that doesn't mean you're right or you're wrong. Everybody just has different opinions. However, your opinion may make another person stop and be like, you know what? You might be on to something. You just might be on to something. Let me try that way. So let's talk about your financial statements. And even if you are an individual, you are supposed to know where your money is going and how your money looks. Again, I'm going to go back to my brother. I used to laugh at him when he used to go in his pocket and pull that money out and say, I'm going to give you this and give you this because this already for somebody. Got to put this up, got to do this, got to be. And it was like, bruh, come on now, you got the money. It's right there. But again, I didn't have the mindset he had. I got it now, but I didn't have it back then. So we have to know where our money is at. At some point, we got to get tired of robbing Peter to pay Paul. You know what I'm saying? You deserve to know where your money is going to the last copped cent. Now, here's a question for you. Do you truly understand your financial statements? Do you truly understand the story that it's telling you? Or are you just saying, okay, I trust what you say? That's fine. We appreciate that you trust what we say. But you yourself have to know it, because what if it comes up in conversation? You can't be like, hold on, let me call my accountant. Absolutely not. People don't look at you like you're crazy. You have to know where your money is falling. Now, it's basic income. You know, of course, you have a balance sheet, you have a cash flow statement, you have a retained earnings statement, and you have a profit and loss statement. No, I didn't say it in order, but those are the 4 financial statements that you have. Now, understanding those statements, when you look at your profit and loss statement, that's your income against your expenses. So if your income outweighs your expenses, you have a profit. If your expenses outweigh your income, you're at a negative. Your balance sheet tells a snapshot where you are at that point in time for that period. Whatever assets you have against whatever liabilities that you have. Your cash flow statement is going to tell where your money is going, how it looks, who it's going to. And your retained earnings statement is going to show your capital. Where are you right now? How are you producing? What is your production looking like? So it's important to know how this looks, because that's a replica of who you are. Now, did you know that profit doesn't always mean cash? Guess what? I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all. Even when I graduated, I didn't know that. And we talked about it in school. I didn't know it until I actually had to put my hands on it and see it. I had to be in the midst of it. So that's what I mean by still learning. So this money thing, you're going to always learn because it keeps changing, right? So now, why profit doesn't mean money? Because it doesn't. Just because you profited don't mean you got the money. What if you're a good saver or a good investor? What if that money that you put away for a rainy day, you're able to go and peel off of it? That don't mean you made a profit. That just means you got that cash. Now, you have to understand your AR, which is your accounts receivable. It's uncollected revenue. So, for instance, if you have a customer that hasn't paid you, you now have a profit, but you don't have the cash. So let's just say, let's use me. I can't talk about nobody but me. Let's suppose somebody come in here and get a tax return done. I done did the work. I done profited off the work, but they ain't paid me. I don't have no money or nothing. I just got a profit off the work. So that's how we have to understand that why profit doesn't always necessarily means cash. Now, here's another example. When you're buying inventory, inventory uses up your cash up front. However, that is also recorded as an expense depending on what inventory you're buying. And you're going to also have a cost of goods sold section because that's products that's sold. And at the end of the year, you're going to have some product at the end of the year. And if you haven't, hey, kudos to you. But when you're buying up stuff, that's deducting from your cash because you're buying inventory. Now, here's another one for you. When you're making financial decisions, informed decisions, business decisions, are you relying on your financial statements that you're looking at, especially your budgets and your cash flow statements? Are you looking at the performance that at the rate that you are? Are you analyzing it? Or are you just guessing, saying, look, I made a profit. This look good right here. We ain't going to worry about what's next or what could happen. So I'm going to take this money and go out there and splurge. That's something that we have to think about. We're good at doing that. And again, don't get me wrong. I'll tell you in a minute, celebrate the small wins. But there's ways to celebrate the small wins. Say, for instance, you like, what restaurant can I use? Say, and I'm going to talk about Chicago. Let's say you love steaks, right? Great. You're a fan of Longhorn Steakhouse, right? But this time you want to celebrate yourself, so you may go to Morton Steakhouse, or you may go to RPM Steak, or you may go to London House. You're treating yourself. So instead of you paying maybe $40 for that steak, now you're going to pay $80 for that steak. You're not going overboard. You're just treating yourself. And it's okay to treat yourself. It's okay to celebrate the small wins. Now, what do you have to do? You have to avoid not looking at those financial statements. You have to do spot checks. You have to do self audits on your income. And guess what? You got some people that'll say, Shavon, I don't got time for that. Or I have my clients all the time. Miss Shavon, I can't do that. I'm doing this. Who got time for that? If you got time to fuss at me when I file your taxes and you owe, then you got time to do a self audit. And if you don't, you got time to pay for it to get done. So you can't have it both ways. You can't get it for free and fuss about it. You want it done. You want it done the right way. You're going to have to pay for that, okay? It's a must. You must create a 2 to 3 year comparison. Bring out those tax returns. Look at what you did prior year against what you did this year. When you're sitting down budgeting and looking at your finances, what you're going to do is you're going to look at what you spent last month versus what you spent this month and see the difference. Look at the adjustments that you made. It's very possible that you could have potentially saved. So what I can tell you to do, what I can suggest that you do, is if you want to get on board, if you want to do better, and the old cliche is when you know better, you do better. Get with your accountant and your preparer, man. Schedule these quarterly appointments. Schedule these semi-annually appointments. Yes, it's going to be a fee to that, but guess what? It's there to help you and it's there to maintain your finances. So when you get a better hold of it, let's just say you needed this service for 2 years. You just needed that check-in. You needed that stability. And here come year number 2. You say, hey, look, I got it. You showed me the ropes. I'm good. I could do it on my own. And you keep doing it. Great. Because now you got that foundation. But if you know that you're not going to do it, if you know that you're going to need that help, why not sit and get that assistance? Why? And that's something that you have to ask yourself. What we have to learn to do is turn our awareness into long-term change when it comes to our finances. So let me ask my audience a question, anybody that's listening. Does anybody, excluding me, feel like they can have knowledge, right? You get all this knowledge today and you could apply it to your future and live comfortably? Is it anybody here that can actually say that? And when I say that, I want you to just think about that. And I'll answer the question for myself. Like, I have all this knowledge, but can I say I can live comfortably year after year? Absolutely not, because it's a process, because I have to keep things in motion. I have a plan and I keep planning for that plan. And when that plan is not working, now I need to make adjustments. This is where I go in and I sit and I have those meetings with my accountant. Hey, look, what is it that I need to do? This is where I have those conversations with my team. Look, we done did this. We done tried this. This isn't working. What do we do? So it doesn't stop, because I'm always on the go. I'm always searching, because it never stops. And because I want it to become residual, I want it to work for me. I got to have that plan. I got to look at those financial statements. I got to know what's talking about me when I'm not in the room. Because again, you're never invited to the round table. What's invited to the table is your documents. So you got to give yourself some grace. Use the consistency over perfection, because we're not perfect. There was only one that was perfect. That was Jesus. I know I'm not perfect. And I make mistakes. I make mistakes every single day. 365 days a year, I make mistakes. But I learn from the mistakes, and I try not to stay in that place of the mistakes. You have to give yourself grace. You also have to give yourself a chance to turn things around. You have to build daily, weekly. It's financial habits, just like a person that wants to lose weight. It's a lifestyle change. I'll never forget when my sister got married. She was telling me that she wanted to get into this dress, and we were talking about ice cream. So she said instead of her eating ice cream every day, she treated herself to ice cream maybe once a week. She didn't stop eating it. She just ate it in moderation. So it was a lifestyle change for her, regardless to if it's ice cream or cookies. Now, my lifestyle change is people. Please, give me some birthday cake. That's all I asked for. Give me some birthday cake. No, that was the joke of the day. Now, you have to start small. Again, you can celebrate those small wins. Like, I love when Anointed Accounting does something. I love when we shine. So what do? We either go out to eat at a nice place, or we pick a nice activity. We love to bowl. We'll go bowling. We may even go skating. I'll be the one falling, because I don't know how to skate, but I know how to fall real good. So that'll be me on the floor. Yes. But still, you can celebrate those small wins. Do I want that Michael Kors purse? Absolutely. But right now, I don't got it for that. So I got to wait. We got to learn how to shift from being reactive to being more proactive. Don't just move because you're in that moment. Think about how it's going to affect what it is that you're doing. And sometimes me, I can't talk about nobody but me. I'll move off impulse and be like, man, why did I do that? Darn it, I should have waited. Too late now. But you learn from your mistake, right? You have to change your mindset. In changing your mindset, you have to trust the process no matter how it looks. And again, I tell people this all the time. People think because you're a business owner, you got it. No, you don't have it. And if you do got it, you didn't get it overnight. It was some blood, sweat, and tears in there, baby. Your business will put you through that. It'll make you whoop it. It'll make you celebrate it. It'll make you get gray hair. It'll make you throw in the towel. It'll even make you say a curse word, baby. It'll make you do it. It'll also make you jump and shout for joy. But you have to have things in place by trusting the process and seeing it through the end, seeing how it looks. You have to create those long-term actions that's going to be aligned with your purpose. You have to see where it is you're going. And how do you see that? You have a plan on how that looks. You put that plan of action together. It's so important to do that, because if we don't have a plan, how are we going to know how to move? It's impossible for us to know how to move. And that's just like you get there and you say, well, I'm going to go here and I'm going to go there. Well, what are we going to do when we get there? First of all, how are we going to get there? Let's talk about that. So you're constantly planning, and I'm a planner when it comes to certain things, and then certain things I'm not a planner at. I reach out to my resources for that can help me with that, because I'm not an expert in everything. I may be a jack of all trades in a lot, but only an expert in a few. A master of many, though. So we just got to get in the mindset of learning how to strategize, learning how to feel confident about our money. I don't care if you bring home $100 a week to $2,000 a week. It's your money. You worked for it. You earned it. Keep it. Learn how to keep it. Learn what you need to do to keep it, because it's yours. It's yours. You worked hard for it. I can't think of the person that made it, but I work hard for the money. Hey, she worked hard for the money. Yes, that's you. So because you worked hard for that money, now you're going to let that money work for you. And how do you do that? You start by having that foundation of financial literacy. You start by taking control of your money. You start by having confidence. You start by letting your documents speak for you, because they're the ones in the room. You start by planning. You start by having those consultations, those check-ins with your accountant, your preparer. You start by doing those self-audit checks or paying for that service. You start by tuning in on Saturdays or visiting the YouTube page, because you got to have a blueprint. You got to have a starting point if you want it to work for you. It's not just going to fall out the sky. It's not. Although in a perfect world, that's how we expect it, but it's not. So before we move unintentionally, let's take a step back and be more proactive in what it's going to do for us and how it's going to benefit us, right? Right? Because that's just only going to help us in the end. Now, before I go into the closing of the show, I'm going to give you just another reminder that tomorrow is Anointed and Appointed, who is powering the birthday person. Let's Talk Finance. Birthday / anniversary is going to be tomorrow at 3:15. So again, tell everybody that it's going to be a celebration / birthday party. Yes, we're going to have a good time tomorrow starting at 3:15. I would advise everybody to be on time. I would advise everybody to show up, because you don't want to miss out on nothing. And again, it's a 1-year-old birthday party. Would you really want to miss that? It's so cute. You see, that's why I got my bud up here, so I could be one. Yeah. Again, if you have not did those extensions, people, don't try to rush and get your taxes done. You done already waited 16 months. You could wait another day or so just to get that extension in, and then come back and get those tax returns done. The countdown is on. It is 4 days left to get those tax returns in. To my accountants and my preparers that's out there, I'm tilting my hat to y'all. We are up working endlessly and effortlessly every day, all day. I appreciate the work. It does not get noticed as much as it should. So I appreciate y'all. I just want to put that out there. But as we close our show today, I want you to understand that financial education isn't just about being perfect with your money, right? It's more to that. And again, Not perfect, meaning you're perfect, but perfect enough to manage your money. It's about being intentional. It's about understanding enough to make better and wiser choices when it comes to your money than what you did the day before or the day before that. That cliche is when you know better, you do better. And that's the same for when you're dealing with your finances. Listen, when you take time to learn about your numbers, when you take time and you remove fear and you replace it with confidence, direction, and purpose, you moving good because you're not fearful. Like I said, if you went out there and you overspent and you got that $37 late fee, I mean not late fee, NSF fee, excuse me, you still look at that bank account because you know what you did. You take ownership. You take accountability for that. Now that you know better, you knew your mistake, and even though you know better, you make it intentional that you do better when it comes to your money. So let this moment of avoiding what you're looking at, stop letting it deter you from how you want to move, and align yourself with what you see at the finish line. Because again, this is your money. This is what you're working hard for. You have to understand and get control of your money. Don't let it control you. See, the thing with money is, and control is that you have that power and you have that control to control your finances. And you could align that so it can help control your future and how you're going to react and how you're going to move purposely. And it's nothing greater than having that freedom. It's nothing greater than having that confidence. Again, when you think of your money, sisters, think of your money like when you putting on them stilettos and you walking out. Not putting on the stilettos and you don't know how to walk in them. When you putting on them heels and you walking in them, that's confidence. Even if you don't know how to walk in them, but you faking it till you make it and you doing an awesome job, you do that with that money too. My brothers, when you putting on them suits and them alligator shoes and them Movados or them other expensive watches, them Cartiers and them diamonds, use that same energy and that same purpose for when you trying to control your money, because it's the same. It's a part of you. I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. I love y'all. Who wouldn't want to spend time with me? Hey, because y'all love me. And who wouldn't want to know about their money and spend time with who? Duh, me. Why not? And on a Saturday, right? That's how I know y'all love me, because it's Saturday and y'all still listening. So whether you're on live or you coming back to look, I so appreciate the support. I love y'all. Y'all, we are less than 24 hours away from a 1-year-old party. I'm super geek, super excited. I have all of you to thank. I so appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Again, I am on all platforms under Anointed Accounting at ANOINTEDACCOUNTING. If you have not subscribed to that YouTube channel, please go over and do so at youtube.com. Type in Anointed Accounting, ANOINTEDACCOUNTING. Our website is www.anointedaccounting.com. Our telephone number is 312-837-7219. Please give us a call. Reach out to us. We'll love to help you. We got a beautiful staff just waiting by, just here to assist, because that's what we love to do. Inform, assist, and just be educational. That's what we're here for, to help one another. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, stopping by. Please love, like, share the content, because again, you never know who this is going to benefit. You never know who this is going to touch and help on whatever level that may be. So I know it's Sunday. I look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow, even if y'all on live with y'all good Sunday dinners, got the TV on in the background, whatever it is. I look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow at 3:15 for the celebration. I want you to know I love you guys. Thank you to Beautiful Bam for stopping by. Hey, Pookie. Hey, y'all, that's my brother. He gonna hit. Hey, I didn't know you was here. I love you. My sister on here too. Hey, Renita. I love my sister. I love my brother too. Ooh, I love y'all. I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace.